So, Trendsetter, what do you want to talk about, right? Am I right or wrong? Unbelievable stuff going on in pro wrestling. We got your Royal Rumble preview and predictions on the special episode of HSP podcast here on the Give Us a Shot Network, presented by Fast Break Coffee. Trendsetter, what is going on, man? Got lots to discuss, a little bit of time, but again, always good to be with you here. And we are now close to being on the verge to the road to WrestleMania, as this weekend, the Royal Rumble, one of the most exciting PLEs of the year, one that I look forward to a lot. So do you. What's going on, man? How you doing?
I remember we used to call it a pay-per-view. Now it's a PLE. Unbelievable. Things have changed. Times has changed, Jeff. But one thing that hasn't changed, the fact that when you get to this crazy road, as you mentioned before so eloquently, the road to WrestleMania, right? You're thinking, okay, we have one generic focus, but the way things are floating nowadays and the news travels very fast, it's hard to catch up on anything. So it's amazing. We're going to try to get everything we can in terms of fitting in all we want to talk about, but Jeff, but you're right. This is one of the most exciting events that I look forward to the most because it is the start of the road to WrestleMania. All the excitement, all the anticipation. And previous years ago, it was pretty predictable, to be honest with you. You knew what scenario was going. This is the first time in a long time I cannot remember that I can't really predict these things. They can go in so many different directions, and that's what creates the excitement about watching this.
Yeah, very exciting PLE, of course, like we mentioned, premium live event this Saturday from St. Petersburg, Florida, in Tropicana Field, the Royal Rumble. We are on the road to WrestleMania. So, guys, make sure you follow us on all our social media, High Spot Podcast. Make sure you check us out here on Give Us a Shot Network. Follow and subscribe. And also make sure to, just follow all our social media as, we are getting really close to April in Philadelphia. But I guess we're going to start off with big news, and that is that Raw finally has a home as they're going to get in the ring with Netflix. They're going to end their nearly over 30-year relationship with the USA Network. And Raw's moving, folks, and it's moving to Netflix, to streaming, something that is historic, something that is just crazy. I mean, WWE Network was the first one to go streaming, one of the very first platforms where you would stream. They got laughed at. They were like, what's Vince McMahon doing? And now, just a few years later, streaming seems like it's going to be the future, the way to go. And Raw now will be on Netflix starting in January of 2025, 10 years, $5 billion. Nick Khan, you are an effing animal as you've negotiated that deal for WWE. I got to say, first and foremost, Trendsetter, that Nick Khan is probably one of the greatest hires ever by the company. I mean, he is a dog. You take an x-ray, brother, and there is dog in that guy because not only has he, brokered this deal, he's helped with transition from ownership from Vince back over to the sale of WWE. And then also to now with the merger of TKO, him and Triple H now are at the helm. What a historic day for WWE and the USA Network now moving away from Raw, and they'll take SmackDown in the fall. But just what can you say other than a historic and an amazing coup by WWE?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to business, I wish I could take a tutorial on, and I would pay good money to take a 101 business from Nick Khan and just get 10 minutes of his mind and really understand the intricacies of what this is. You're right. He's a dog. He's an animal, in terms of whatever he wants, he goes out and gets, and that's what happened. But when you talk about the deal with Netflix, man, this is, I wouldn't say historic, but this is more of an evolution, really, of where not just the industry is going, but where, like you said before, everything else is going now. Before it was regular TV, you'd be lucky enough to get more than 13 channels. Then it was cable. That's why, like I said, I remember in the past we used to call it pay-per-views rather than PLEs, right? Premium live events. Then moved over to network television, and then you'd had, like, say, the huge partnership they've had with the USA Network. Now streaming platforms is the thing of the future now, the thing of the present, really, not even the future. It's the present now, where everything is on a streaming platform. Your favorite shows, favorite things are on there. I can't remember the last time myself personally I watched TV live because things are recorded and you can watch things on demand and see repeats. So it just makes sense in that way. And for Netflix to, we talk about the great move that WWE has done. Netflix has done a great move too as well in terms of the content they're going to get from WWE and the countless number of subscriptions they're going to get in terms of watching it, because besides going on Peacock and watching the network there, when you look at Netflix too, and people want to see premium live events now, or not premium live events, I'm sorry, like Raw, which is the longest running sitcom show, or
Sitcom, no.
episodic. Thanks for correcting me.
Little tongue tied there.
No, I'm thinking about sitcoms and TV and stuff like that. So, episodic show ever. And wow, what a great place to watch it now. People are going to watch and tune in every Monday to see this. And dude, a great move. I couldn't think of anything better in terms of this is where the future is going. This is the present right now. And WWE, again, has shown the evolution they've done in terms of what they've done, not only within the industry, but what they're doing in terms of going out there and letting the masses see them. Now, even more people get a chance to see it because everyone has Netflix. So, great move by them.
So now, again, it's not going to be about ratings because obviously they're getting out of that game, and obviously that's a thing of the past. They're not going to be so concerned. There's so much concern about it. It's probably going to be on the subs and then just the content that they're going to deliver. Now, a lot of questions though remain with this move as Raw is entering partnership with Netflix. Is first of all, it's in January of 2025. Their contract ends with the USA Network in October, before even the partnership begins with Netflix. So they're going to have to find a home for that next 3 months, Trendsetter. So a lot of options, but one is not going to be the USA Network, as they're not going to extend the deal with WWE past October. So they're going to have to find a home. Now, a lot of people think it's going to be Peacock. A lot of people even suggested, hey, take 3 months off and then just have a reboot in January. But of course, that is
I don't think that's going to happen now.
not going to be an option for WWE at all. I don't believe that would be crazy to do. I mean, that would be really crazy. I mean, obviously, right? It would have like a little first off season they've ever had. So I'm not sure how that's going to go, but they need to find a home. Other than Peacock, do you see any other ways that WWE can air their programming without being on USA?
I mean, I think with the deal that they're also doing CW with SmackDown and NXT, I think that would be maybe a temporary solution.
Yeah, well, SmackDown's all be on USA, and CW is going to be on.
Sorry, CW
Yeah.
would be for NXT. Maybe that's a possibility. I mean, I think all arrows point to Peacock. I just think it's an easier transition from there. It would go from one streaming platform to the other. They already have the network on there too, so I'm pretty sure the episodes would be just on the network and people go watch them when they air. I don't. It would probably be similar to a premium live event in terms of watching Raw. So I think that would be the solution if they want to go to a network. Would be the CW where NXT is now currently, because SmackDown is now home for USA, and like you said, they're not going to extend past October. So I see those two options more leaning towards Peacock for me.
Another thing coming out of this too is Trendsetter is that with this move, it doesn't guarantee that it will be Monday nights from going forward. Now, we've watched Monday Night Raw every Monday for as long as I can remember. And it's always been Monday, and it's always been the Monday Night Wars, and it's synonymous with Monday nights. But then you had the point in the Attitude Era where they were kicking, Monday Night Football's ass, and there was nothing like that, period. But now things have changed, and of course, wrestling was kind of put on the back burner. Now you have so many sports and so many things now to watch, so many multiple things that you can do. And Nick Khan went on the Pat McAfee show, and he was talking about how they got to deal with the national championship, the NBA, all these Monday Night Football games. Now that football is so popular now, it's so crazy. All this stuff that they got to deal with here on Monday nights, that there might be a chance for it to move now. It's no guarantee that we're going to get Monday nights. So far, that's the plan. But could you even imagine a Monday Night Raw without being on Monday night? I mean, things change, right?
Yeah, look, I mean, there are a lot of things that I could imagine happening and that they've occurred, right? Hell's frozen over how many times now where I don't think it even exists in terms of all these things we never thought we'd see that are actually happening. Could I see Raw leaving Mondays and going on something else? Yeah, I mean, because obviously it's not called Monday Night Raw anymore. It's just called Raw. This isn't
Yeah,
like Friday Night SmackDown, for example. They moved to Friday, then it's Tuesday Night SmackDown, then it's Thursday Night SmackDown. In my honesty, I don't know why they even call it. It should just be SmackDown. When you label it a certain a day, you're isolated to it. So it wouldn't be far fetched to see it. I don't see it happening in the near future. Like you said, Nick Khan was on the Pat McAfee show talking about it, but that's just your bread and butter. I understand, like, you're competing with these other forms of entertainment like football, like you said, or the national championship. But listen, they're not on a network anymore. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. If they're not on networks, they don't have to really worry about ratings. I mean, if they're on Netflix, it's not really going to affect in terms of their ratings or viewership. But if they want to move it to a certain day to deal with a certain demographic. I mean, listen, I never thought we'd ever see premium live events on any day other than a Sunday. Because that was the thing. You would see it on Sunday, and then the next night you can't wait for Raw because it's literally less than 24 hours before the events happen the night before. Now it's Saturday. You have to wait a day, another 48. You have to wait 48 hours to see what happens. So I wouldn't be surprised. It's been a huge staple of Monday nights all the time. But again, as I said before in the beginning, things that are staples and things that were like just you thought them without even thinking have changed. So I could see it happening. Don't see it happening anytime soon, but I do see it happening.
Well, there's about a year before they do come on. So, like I said, anything can happen and the decision's not been made. But again, I would not be surprised if they move away from Monday night. But then you mentioned the ratings, and I don't think they have to worry about ratings. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see how they measure the success of this Monday Night Raw in front of Netflix. Because there's a lot of ways you can measure success, whether it's subs, whether it's views. We'll see how they do that. But there is a possibility that Monday Night Raw, as we know it, might cease to exist in the very near future. All right, Trendsetter, something that I think also, too, got to give kudos to the stars of WWE, and that is that, every year they've got the cover of the WWE 2K game, and it's very popular, and it's evolved through time. And there's a point where a few years ago that, a lot of complaints were about the quality of the game. Then they kind of had a redo, and they've rebranded and they've done amazing things. And I think from the early onset is that you're getting a lot of great features for this one. And the big news coming out this week, Trendsetter, was that, hey, there's 3 faces on the cover. And of course, Cody Rhodes gets the main one. He is on the main cover of WWE 2K24. Congratulations to Cody Rhodes. Obviously, to us, at least to me, he's the face of the company just because he's out there a lot and he's at the forefront. Congratulations go out to Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, who will be on the cover of the deluxe edition of WWE 2K24. A big honor for Cody Rhodes, but I'm not surprised, man, because he's earned it, and in my opinion, is the face of the company.
Yeah, I mean, I partially agree with that. I think the face of the company right now would be without a question Roman Reigns, but in terms of who's been the biggest spokesman for WWE, it would be Cody, just because he's been out there, he's been doing the media appearances, he's been doing, you know, every single type of television streaming, interviews, all this stuff, and he's done a great job of doing it. So if you really would want a face for WWE or somebody who speaks highly of it and presents it to people who probably aren't familiar with it, Cody would be your guy to talk to because he's just, I'm sorry, he's just so likable. You see him on screen, you see him do that classic smile, and how could the dashing smile, and you're like, man, how can you not like this guy because he's such a good guy at heart? But so happy for Cody. It just shows again, I think, for a lot of people who are naysayers and doubters that Cody isn't or doesn't have the ability of being the guy. I mean, we talked about this honestly maybe a couple days ago, Jeff, where I was like, it's amazing how Cody had gone from dashing mustache and then Stardust and left, and literally when I looked at the Bullet Club and how it was assembled and I saw Cody emerge, I was like, man, Cody's building himself up through himself as a star. And then finally when AW came to life and he went through that process of working with that company, help building it for what it is and being the face of AW to a certain degree as well. He came back in a huge way, and people didn't see him anymore as the Stardust, the dashing Cody, all this stuff. They looked at him like, man, this guy is a legit player. And that's how W presented him when he came back originally at WrestleMania. And it's to me, I'm so happy for him. I think it's great. I think it's well deserved, and pretty stoked to see it. I haven't played those games in a while, man. Those
Yeah,
graphics are so realistic. It's amazing.
a lot of people were talking about whether AI was taking over the artwork, and a lot of people kind of freaked out by the way they have the faces there. That Hogan one still blows my mind. That kind of felt weird. The Austin one, I mean, it's very realistic. They're trying to get it as realistic as they can. Some of this stuff just kind of freaks me out though. But I mean, so far, a lot of good reviews for this game, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. Obviously, it's going to be a very popular game for WWE. And again, we just real quick just talk about Rhea Ripley, Mommy, and Bianca Belair will grace the deluxe cover. Congratulations to them as well.
Yeah, I mean, look what Bianca Belair has done, and then Rhea. We've talked about through God knows how much in terms of the efforts of what Rhea's done in terms of her title run and what she's done in terms of popularity of not necessarily what she's done as a singles competitor, but what she's done within the group of Judgment Day. And just the mere fact that people are cheering her, they can't boo her, they don't see her as a heel. They just love Rhea Ripley right now because everything she's doing is authentic. Everything she's doing just feels natural, and it doesn't feel like it's fake. It feel like it's fabricated, and that's why Rhea's done such a great job. So congratulations to both of them. One of many covers I'm sure to come in the future for them.
I mean, crazy on Monday night as we were going to get to a Royal Rumble preview here on the HSP podcast on Give It a Shot Network. I really was blown away by the promo between Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, man. That thing was crazy. That thing was awesome. It gave me chills. It really made me look forward to even more this Saturday's PLE, the Royal Rumble, and just the whole comparison where CM Punk felt more like the American Dream, and then Cody Rhodes just went back at him and was talking about how he kind of felt like CM Punk. Obviously, both guys made their case. Both guys really epic promo. I think one of the best promos I've seen in the ring so far. Makes you think, man, how did Tony Khan not put these guys together when they were both in AEW? But hey, you know what? Listen, AEW's loss is WWE's gain. And I think here what you get is a lot of people are talking about, hey, this would be a great first title defense for Cody Rhodes. Or hey, this is a guy that's CM Punk who, if you look at these last promos, it seems like the other guys have gotten the best of CM Punk, and you're kind of getting to see that little hypocritical aspect towards CM Punk's character a little bit. But at the end, you're talking about two of the best people on the mic going at it for a good 15 minutes in the ring. And I think it not only add more intrigue of what's going to happen when they both get in the ring at the Royal Rumble, but it's also setting up an epic feud because who doesn't want to see Cody Rhodes and CM Punk go at it eventually down the road? And we might get it sooner than later. We'll get to that in just a few seconds. But man, that promo Trendsetter delivered. It was an amazing one. I don't want to say an all time, but for what it's worth and what it did for us to be more interested and involved in the Rumble, man, kudos to both guys.
Yeah, if there's a ribbon you were going to put on it in terms of a nice little bow, that was definitely it because it just made you again feel two things: the potential, obviously, of a Cody CM Punk actually in the ring against one another. That'd be awesome to watch, and obviously the story behind it and the build up and the interaction between the two of them, and then the mere fact that we don't know, is it going to be Cody? Is it going to be CM? Both have legitimate reasons for wanting to win the Royal Rumble and needing to win it. More importantly, like both need it. CM Punk so desperately wants to be in the main event, and Cody so badly wants to right the wrong of what happened last year, and in this case, finish the story as everybody talks about. Both so badly need this win, and you know that one of them won't, or maybe neither of them won't, because again, there are other factors involved in this, which we'll talk about in a few, about who could win the Royal Rumble. And like I said before, in the beginning when we started, this is the first time in a long time where it can go any way. Fans are obviously not going to be happy regardless, because fans, they become fickle sometimes, and something they're never happy. But it's going to be disappointing for one of these stories. Now, granted, it'll continue on into something else, but there's going to be disappointment. There's going to be excitement at the end. So, in terms of the promo too, just real quick to mention that, man, it's a masterclass. It's a
Yeah,
scenario where you have two individuals who are so much in their prime of knowing who they are as individuals. And it's the old scenario that goes, I mean, ask any wrestling legend or any sports entertainment legend too. It's that it's not going out there and having things written down or jotting notes on your hand, whatever the case might be,
on your wrist.
or on your wrist. It's more going about there, having an idea of where you wanted to go, and then just reacting. Everything nothing was rushed. It didn't look like somebody was thrown off. But like you said before, it really seems like CM Punk here is not getting the better of these individuals anymore, whether it be Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, in this case, Cody. These guys can talk as well. And so maybe, the pipe bomb guy is still there in CM Punk, but, you better look out too, because all these other individuals are ready, and they're ready with the truth. And that's something you said. A lot of it's hypocritical sometimes to CM Punk. I'm sure it's done on purpose for that particular reason. Punk's a very smart guy, but it also shows the fact that with CM Punk since his return. Yeah, people are happy to see him, but it's been a mixed reaction because when he talks about anybody else, Seth Rollins, people are cheering CM Punk. But then when it comes to Cody Rhodes, it really feels, in my opinion, that people are defending Cody and they're like, hey, don't pick on our guy. Don't mess with him.
Like it, man, it really does. Listen, first of all, I kind of like the fact that we're seeing CM Punk part time because I'm pretty sure eventually down the road, with a lot of people that are going to be absent or or through injury, obviously the Seth Rollins injury too that we got to get into is you know kind of crisis averted, and the best case scenario for Seth Rollins is going to be just a few weeks off, 3 to 4 weeks, with a partial tear, a meniscus, MCL. So he had a kind of crisis averted, and you kind of thinking, wait a minute, WrestleMania is still a few months away, so this is still possible. And Seth Rollins coming out saying that he's okay and saying that he will make it to WrestleMania to defend the title. It just depends on who exactly is that guy, right? Whether it's Cody or CM Punk. And now you're kind of well, it depends because Cody's going to finish the story, right? He's going to finish the story, but it's got to be a Roman Reigns. So that's not. But then a guy like Gunther comes into the picture, and that's where all this stuff that happened this week as well kind of superseded things and kind of had people in a flux because Sports Illustrated, a very, very reputable news outlet, kind of broke the story that Triple H doesn't see Cody finishing the story. So, what is Cody's end game? Will Cody finish the story at WrestleMania? I know we're jumping here from the Royal Rumble to WrestleMania, but when this stuff leaks out and you're saying, wow, what a bummer to the Cody fans that, hey, Cody Rhodes won't finish the story. These outside reports have Cody and Punk. And after you see the great promos that they had on Monday night, you're like, okay, that's great, but we're kind of looking down the road for that. Now you may get Punk and Cody at Mania, and then you're thinking, who's going to challenge Seth? And you're saying Gunther, and of course, you watch Monday night. Who's in the ring with Seth? Gunther. So there you go, and then you have The Rock and Roman Reigns on night 2, most likely for the title. Had everyone in flux, Trendsetter. It turns out that it's false. Now, whether it's leaked information that WWE has given them to throw them off, whether Justin Barrasso just had a bad day, hey, it happens to even the best of us, where he was given wrong information, WWE was not happy. Well, supposedly they're not happy. But can you see a scenario where stuff like this gets leaked off just to throw people off the track? Because Hunter's done a great job of throwing Easter eggs, but now he's kind of throwing other things at you to throw them off the scent. Do you like this kind of fake news being spread out? Does it get us more talking, or do you think it's not necessary?
Wow, there's a lot of stuff you just threw at me right there in terms of to talk about.
Oh, you can do it.
Yeah, no,
It's
definitely I can do
fun.
it. Yeah, right, the Bay Bucks, right? Yeah. Um, as of recently, yeah, it's a personal thing, but yeah,
Cha-ching.
we'll get into that later. Maybe, but no, it's like to get back to your thing. Do I see? Yeah, I do see it happen. You know why? Because so many things right now of things being leaked, of stories being brought out, and information not wanting to be heard as get heard. I could see the WWE playing it on the other side too, trying to control the narrative. Like, hey, listen, these things are going to go out there. So if we purposely now do something where it changes people's perspective of, oh, it's going to be Cody, oh, it's going to be Seth, and those are the only two you're focusing on, and then throw a monkey wrench and all that and say, hey, this could be it too, and have it make sense because it does make sense, even though it was fake and people were saying that he wasn't happy and the story really wasn't legitimate about Triple H saying he doesn't see Cody finishing the story. Even if it was legit, I don't know. Again, I'm just going back from what I've been seeing. It'd be perfect even for Triple H to say that publicly because it's his opinion. I don't think he'll finish the story. And for people like, well, what are you talking about? So Cody's not going to be the guy anymore. What we're doing here, it causes people to talk. It causes individuals like you and I and many other people to discuss this, and that's great. And that's what you want. You want people to not think it's predictive. We want people to talk and voice their opinions, their frustrations, or an alternative or a reasoning behind why they're deciding to do this or switching it this way or whatever. It makes people discuss it and talk about it. And it just builds more anticipation for the Royal Rumble. And, whatever happens, whether it's true or not, or whether CM Punk doesn't, you asked me, do I see CM Punk finishing the story? And I do. I still believe that's going to be Cody. I for some reason, I still feel that way. But if it doesn't, yeah, I'll be disappointed as a fan, but I'm not going to poo over it. You know why? Because it's business. And if The Rock star power means more financially for the business, then you do it because he's the draw. He's the attraction. If you're going to sell whatever remains you have left in that building and it costs people to want to buy more subscriptions to Peacock to see it, and The Rock is the main reason, you do that. But ultimately, I still feel it's going to be Cody. But here's the thing: as fans, Jeff, or people who talk about this now, like you and I do, you have to separate being a fan from business and what makes good business sense. And this makes great business sense. So whether it's Cody in the main event or CM Punk challenging Seth Rollins, or all of a sudden, if you throw the curveball now, Gunther challenges Seth Rollins, it's The Rock and Roman Reigns, and CM Punk and Cody Rhodes dance at WrestleMania. No matter what card you put out there, it's a good card, and people are going to want to watch it.
I think we need to, as fans, also get on the side of business. I mean, how could you pass up The Rock versus Roman Reigns? It's a dream match that people have been talking about. But here's the thing. And of course, we have so much to delve into. But real quick here, The Rock, there's a chance that all this love for Cody, I didn't understand, but I understood it when we were in Mania last year. He'll finish the story at 40. Okay, I get it. He just can't be handed this and then what, right? He needs to fight for it. We've seen him fight for it now for almost a year. Can you believe it? It's been when Brock beat up Cody and that whole story happened, and now it's almost a year now since that happened. Can you believe that? So we believed it and we've supported him up to now. Could they go another year trying to build Cody up? I don't know. I don't know if the fans will stop believing in Cody. That's the danger if Cody doesn't finish the story this year at WrestleMania. And that's going to be something that we're going to obviously talk about as we head to WrestleMania. But one thing that happened too that you mentioned in The Rock, congratulations to The Rock, because he became he got a chair on the board of directors for TKO, and that is a tremendous move. The Rock making moves. Are you surprised that The Rock is on board now with TKO? Obviously, there's a relationship there, and now he's on the board, and obviously he will oversee a lot of things. I mean, it can't be a negative. It's got to be a positive when the most popular star in the world on the planet, The Rock, gets on board with something, and now he is on the board of directors for TKO. Big things for The Rock. It was just a huge week for WWE in general as far as business.
It definitely was. Am I surprised from the right? No, nothing surprises me right now. With the momentum of the merger in terms of TKO now taking over, it just opens the door so many. And again, this is the naive part of me in the beginning, which I never understood it, because this fan side of me, or the diehard fan of me, would say like, well, how can anybody else run it but Vince, and it's not within the family, and it's the lineage of, you would think it's passed down to Stephanie or Shane or whatever, it just stays in the family. Although at that point it was a publicly owned company, it wasn't private anymore. Nah, dude, that's not the way it goes anymore. That's not how business runs. I mean, it's eye opening for me too, in terms of how this happens, and at the end of the day, how much beneficial, not just financially, but how much beneficial it is for the industry in terms of WWE to be partnered, or to work alongside TKO. And for The Rock, why wouldn't you? For somebody who's been one of the biggest entrepreneurs I know in terms of going out and trying to create a movie career and successfully accomplishing that goal of being a bona fide movie star in Hollywood, right? And now venturing over and wanting to fix the XFL. Now you could say partially it did or not, but now the merger between the XFL and the USFL, now you have the UFL. That's still somewhat a success, although the XFL kind of withered away and it's never coming back now. That's it. It's still
Yeah.
a success because he's still in business with that. And now to be on the board with TKO, man, like, it's a success all the way around, man. Because for an individual to be on the board, TKO, who understands the industry, who understands really how it works, the intricacies of it too, it's just great all the way around, man. It's one of the first times I ever see something like that. And I know sometimes people will look at it and say, "Oh, business is boring." I have never been more excited in terms of watching how business deals are
Smart, man.
made than I
Smart
do.
how all these things are done, man. You got a guy like Nick
Hmm.
Khan that you gotta give him respect, right? And that Tony Khan promo from a while back where he's the most important Khan, or move over Nick. I'm sorry, man. Nick Khan is a dog. He's a beast.
Yeah.
He has, he's doubled the TV rights deal that they used to have. When he wanted $400 million, he got $500 million. So kudos to Nick. But here's the thing, Trendsetter, is that while all this is going on, WWE and TKO have kind of promised the major talent that they don't want to see him go. They don't. It's not what they want. They don't want them going over to AEW. They want to try to keep as many of their superstars on board. Drew McIntyre has not signed. And Finn Balor now, as was reported by Raj Geary, there's a chance that his contract is up after WrestleMania. And what the future holds for the leader of the Judgment Day and Finn Balor, it would really suck now with all the success and everything that's going on with WWE on the business side, that a guy like Finn Balor would be somebody that don't prioritize and they don't want. Well, not that they don't want, but they can't get a deal done. At the end of the day, do you see Finn Balor sticking around, or do you see him leaving and maybe, I don't know, getting to work with the Elite one final time?
I'm kind of torn with this one. I think it's 50-50, to be honest with you. I really and I think the side of it too is that I feel, although I have no evidence or proof of it, I feel WWE has probably reached out to Finn wanting to sign him and extend his contract. I feel, at least, because he's such a good person. He's so great for the company, and people like him, and it's just a positive influence in the locker room, I feel. So I think it all depends on him. It depends on what he wants to do. Does he want to continue with this? He's on the right side of 40 now. Looks great still, but who knows? Maybe creatively he wants to venture out and do something else. I mean, that was part of one of his major reasons in terms of the challenge, having another challenge to face when he left New Japan Pro Wrestling and decided to take the venture with WWE, knowing he would start in NXT and he would have to build his star up to possibly make it to the main roster. And he did that. He became the first ever Universal Champion. In this scenario too, I mean, he only a few months ago, I feel, probably more than a few months ago, he was challenging for the World Heavyweight title, and the story he had with Seth Rollins, right? And that was an interesting story. It was a great series of matches there with Seth and Finn. I think he can, but I think his unfortunately the scenario that will always be leading to Finn in terms of what decision he makes. If he wants to make the choice based on will he ever be the guy ever shot at the title, whether it be Universal or heavyweight title, I think that window is closed, unfortunately. And I'm a huge fan of Finn Balor. I wish he had another title run.
You can always get him in a match, but the thing is do you see
Yeah,
him as champion? I don't know. Like you said,
no,
that might have come by the wayside, but a lot of people are upcoming free agents. You got Seth Rollins coming up in 2024. You got Becky Lynch, the man, coming up in 2024. But someone whose contract is up at the end of the month is somebody that a lot of people are going to have an intrigue on, especially at TNA and AEW and not WWE, is the shocking news that Kazuchika Okada is saying goodbye to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Probably the greatest of all time, one of the greatest of all time, has a choice to make, and that is WWE or AEW. Now, again, news kind of broke that Okada was WWE bound, and he might start off in NXT, but whoa, beep, 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 back the brakes up. A little premature. And now it seems like no deal is imminent, and he is in the evaluation process, as we all are, aren't we? This is a guy that has AEW on it because of just the relationship that they've had, and he knows what it's like. But here's a guy too that wants to wrestle at WrestleMania. Can Triple H get this done? And how important would it be for a guy like Okada to be in the fold? Now, listen, a lot of critiques about the Japanese booking of the stars in WWE. Triple H wants to kind of erase that. He would really erase that by putting Okada in a big event, in a big event, a big match style, a big match feel. It needs to be big, right? You know how I envision it, Trendsetter? I envision it at the new WWE headquarters and the press everywhere. And then Triple H and Shawn Michaels sitting next to him, and then introducing Okada. Make it feel big time, kind of like what Nakamura was. That's how you get him in the fold. But how huge would it be to open up the door in Japan for Triple H and Nick Khan, if that's what they want to do, bringing in a guy like Okada into the WWE?
it would be huge. It would be it would be historical just for the fact that and this isn't to put any light on Shinsuke Nakamura or Asuka or Io Sky, but I mean those are very well known high commodities stars in New Japan. But Okada is a megastar in Japan in terms of what he's accomplished. His reign, his dominant reign as the and uh, New Japan Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna mess up those letters, and
Yeah.
and to bring him on board would be amazing. And you know what you said before about Triple H trying to right the wrong in terms of what's happened with people who've come over New Japan. I mean, I think he's somewhat corrected it to a degree. I mean, Asuka has been probably one of the most dominant people coming in from NXT and has stayed that way consistently. Ventured off a little bit in the tag team and then came back again as a dominant figure as she is. Io Sky, she's women's WWE champion. In the reboot and the emergence of the new way you're presenting Shinsuke Nakamura is, I think it's awesome. I love it. I love how they present him.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think the same thing would work for Okada. Now, in terms of the language barrier, I mean, a lot of things to be worked around. I mean,
Get over? Can he get over?
I think he can. I think he's that talented to do it, though. I just think how much does WWE want to commit to that? That's the question, obviously. But in terms of bringing in a type of talent like him, I think there's no question there. You want to bring him in. If he goes to AEW, he goes to AEW. If he goes to TNA, he goes to TNA. But I think if I'm Okada at this stage in my career, yes, you could go over to AEW. You could go over to TNA. AEW probably could match in terms of give you a good deal to go down there, and you could wrestle guys like Kenny again and Will Ospreay who signed, and the list of fantasy matchups that could possibly be there in AEW. But where's your star going to shine brightest? And this isn't a slight on AEW, but in terms of the global reach that WWE has, you would have to lean towards WWE. Now, if this was Vince running things, I probably wouldn't lean towards that right now. But the way, like I said, Triple H has handled things and the way he likes to present more WWE now in terms of more of an international than it's been ever before, I think that would benefit WWE, but more importantly, it would benefit Okada. So I would see that happening. I think he's the better fit there than he would be necessarily in AEW.
I can't emphasize more what you said. You said it perfectly. If he wants money, he wants a sweet deal, and he wants to be able to, work from Japan and still do New Japan stuff. Hey, AEW is the place, right? I kind of get the feeling that he said goodbye to Japan in his last appearance. It kind of felt that way. But if he really wants to get as much as he can out of that name, and at 36, it's not like he's 30 or like MJF who has years ahead of him to establish himself.
Okada's approaching the prime of his career.
Yeah, but I mean, but to make that cash, right? To squeeze everything out of this possible contract that he can get, right? Yes, he's in the prime, and maybe he's got another deal ahead of him, right? But this is the time to get the bag, right? Get the loot. And I think that WWE will be interested. I think they'll offer him fairness. I think they can offer him a WrestleMania match, but it's just important for Triple H to get this one done because it opens the door for Japan. If he's serious, I know they have that little working relationship with All Japan, but now this would be the one. This would be the one here to highlight a guy who's in his prime, who's a superstar, who's got megastar looks, and get him involved. Now, whether it's in NXT, you never know what happens there. Maybe he agrees to do so just to build up, what it's like to wrestle in America. But hey, this guy is a no-brainer to whoever gets him, and they'll be lucky to have him in the fold. But I think a WWE would make sense for him. All right, Trendsetter, we are now on that final lap. Like, we are almost in Tampa. We can feel the sun, and we can sit in our seats and relax and watch the Royal Rumble. We're going to preview this one for you guys. One of our favorite events of the year. And it, again, they're giving you quality over quantity. You're getting 4 matches here, and obviously they're going to take their time with these, but it's going to be a great show, man, because there has never been so much curiosity. There's never been so much, surprises, and things just go crazy with Triple H behind the helm. You never know what's going to happen. So there's a lot of uncertainty here, but let's start off with the U.S. Championship match, and that's Logan Paul defending the U.S. Championship against Kevin Owens this Saturday. John Cena really complimented Logan Paul. He could be the next Roman Reigns of the WWE. That's a huge compliment. He takes on Kevin Owens, a guy that they had a little scuffle at the Performance Center. This is a guy that I think is a great pick to bring out the best in Logan Paul, and I think we're going to see it here in this matchup. I think Logan has a chance to steal the show once again with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is just solid, and I think he's a great guy to have his first title defense here. As much as I love Kevin Owens, I got to go with Logan Paul here, but I'm looking forward to this match as well. It's been really well set up, and now we're going to get it this Saturday.
I think this really benefits Kevin Owens too. I mean, I'll go back and I'll just say my pick right now. I think it's going to be Logan Paul coming out because I think Logan Paul holding that title and the amount of individuals that are drawn to him and the type of reach he has through his social media platform just makes, again, business sense to keep Logan Paul as champion. And again, showcasing himself that he just recently just mentioned he's retired from boxing. He wants to do this now full time. Maybe he won't be wrestling full time, but wants to fully commit now to WWE and be a better performer, be better in the ring, and be better on the mic and all that stuff that comes with it, right? Being a superstar. But I think it helped benefit Kevin too, because it showcased the fact that he still can be in that type of picture, whether it be intercontinental, US, and possibly, who knows, back to competing for a world or WWE championship. So I think it helps benefit him. I agree with you. He's going to bring the best out of Logan. This match is going to be one I'm going to be looking forward to, because right now, oh man, I don't want to jinx him, right? But Logan's been hitting home runs right now, and everything he's done, every single match he's had, he's been hitting home runs. And the last recent one with Rey Mysterio, my goodness, like the fact that he saved Rey Mysterio's life in terms of having that knowledge of being able to protect your opponent there. So I think he's learning, he's growing by the leaps and bounds, Logan Paul. And I think to be in there with a veteran and a guy who is well respected as Kevin Owens, and he's going to bring a fight to you. It's going to be a very entertaining match. So yeah, I have Logan coming out victorious here. I think it benefits both guys, and it's not going to be a one and done. So
What I like about Logan Paul being full time is that now they're not going to have that. Oh, well, he's only a part timer. Hey, and if I had 6 months to practice my match, I could do the same thing as Logan Paul. Now you're going to get Logan Paul, who's going to be more consistent. Now you're going to see him. You're going to see that he's a total package. And kudos to Logan Paul. And again, great first opponent in Kevin Owens. And I think it's going to be a banger. And it's going to be a really good match to see. Very entertaining match for the U.S. Championship. But we both got Logan Paul retaining. All right,
you can hate him all you want, but you got to respect him, because Logan is doing it.
The Women's Royal Rumble match. What I love about this is that you don't know all the women involved. I think Triple H has done a great job in not naming everyone that's in it, but we have 4 participants that we know, and that is Bianca Belair, the Man, Becky Lynch, Bayley, and Nia Jax. So I think that I love the fact that we don't know who's going to be there. Obviously, the 30 women, obviously, they're going to have some surprises, so it's going to be interesting to see who is going to be that surprise. You always like that. You always want to see who comes out. But the story here is who is going to come out victorious. Now, do they want to push Nia Jax and have her win here just to solidify a future matchup with maybe Rhea Ripley? She's been pushed strong, so I think this would really benefit her to win the Rumble. The Man obviously is going to be involved somewhere. A lot of people think that it might be Rhea and Becky Lynch at Mania. That's a great matchup. And also Bianca Belair, she wants to get back at Io Sky. She wants to vie for that title. All these women have a legit chance. But obviously there's kind of like an underdog in all of this, and that's Bayley, who, listen, it just pretty, I don't know, I want to say it's obvious, but the way they're making it seem and the way they're building the story to the way Damage Control is going to eventually turn on Bayley, and the way that she's got a babyface run in her in this coming year, I gotta go with Bayley, man. She's gonna pull us out some way or another. I know that I don't know. I just got a gut feeling that it's gonna be Bayley. Don't ask me why. I just am going with my gut. I'm going with my gut and thinking that Bayley's gonna pull off the win. She's gonna win her first ever Royal Rumble match.
Yeah, well, for its storytellers, this would be the great story to tell, right? I mean, I was leaning more towards Becky Lynch and Rhea in terms of the rivalry there and the promos between the two of them. And Becky saying, I think you're better than me, but I need to prove that I can beat you. So I'm gonna win the Royal Rumble and face you." And Rhea's like, "I'll see you at WrestleMania." Thinking that was where it's gonna go. Of course, Bianca's there, and then you have obviously Nia Jax. But to me, if I'm really writing this from a storyline standpoint, and we've talked about how impressive the Judgment Day have done in terms of it getting you involved in the inner workings of that group, and then the Bloodline, who I think wrote the formula on how to do that and keep you intrigued in the storyline, what's happening within the group itself, right? I just saw Sammy emerge and turning on Roman, and oh my God, how the excitement that happened at Elimination Chamber. For this right now, it's written in the stars that the inner workings of Damage Control, it's going to self-destruct. Yeah. And Bayley seems to see herself on the outskirts, because everyone's kind of looking against her as if she doesn't fit the group anymore. Io has now brought in her friends, people that like her, and Dakota Kai is just kind of following, whoever the leader of the group is theoretically. So she's seeing herself on the out. So yeah, I I was leaning towards Becky Lynch, but I hate to agree with you, Jeff. I gotta lean towards Bailey. This would be amazing. Another big reason why now her, you know, winning the Royal Rumble and challenging for the WWE Championship rather than the World Championship would cause damage. He'll say, you know what, you're out, we're done. And then again, one huge more baby run left in Bailey. One I think she always wanted in terms of this stage of what Bailey is. So yeah, I see Bailey winning this one right now. The crowd would go crazy for that.
But the thing is, she doesn't need to win it. She's not to get to where she wants to get. And people think she's going to challenge Rhea, but at the end of the day, we think it's going to be Io, right? She doesn't have to win the Rumble. So that's the thing where you got to factor in too. But even though she doesn't have to, I think she's going to win it.
Yeah, but even if she wins it though, it gives more of a question mark of, oh my God, she won the Rumble. Is she going to go to Io? Is she not? And the shock when she decides to face Io would cause turmoil within the group.
That is something to look at. That's why it's going to be really exciting. We got the undisputed Universal Championship on the line in a fatal four-way. You've got the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns, defending that title against LA Knight, Randy Orton, and AJ Styles. It was supposed to be Randy Orton, but it was changed. And Nick Aldis changed it to a fatal four-way, and this is what we get. And I, again,
I love it.
Yeah, of course they love it. Who wouldn't? You get four of the best stars in the company right now. But come on, let's be honest. This is just makeup. This is just a beautification of them showing their talents. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, there's just less than 1% chance that Roman Reigns loses that championship. And I think, let's be honest, too, I think that this was kind of done so that Randy doesn't eat the pin this early in his run. I'm sorry. I just, until further notice, Roman Reigns.
Well, yeah, no, I agree with that too. It's Roman Reigns, obviously. But again, this gives you the likelihood, if you're not somebody who's trying to follow it as distinctively, and we've heard rumors too that WWE kind of wants to see him surpass Hogan. In order for him to do that, he would have to hold on to the title till September, which throw a monkey wrench into a lot of plans for WrestleMania 40, right? But it does give the ability, which is what I think one of the there are obviously two reasons I feel that Roman Reigns isn't on TV as much as he was before. One, he needs a break, obviously. Secondly, you're running out of people and scenarios to put Roman Reigns in that he could potentially lose his title. So this is what happened. We started defeating all these people, and it sounded like bitter grapes to me, right? Oh, how could he beat this person or that person? This guy should have won. No, it's just that by doing that every single month, you started running out of people. So I feel one, he deserves the rest. I think, in my honest opinion, Roman Reigns has been converted to a part-timer now. And the same likelihood of people who are upset that, a guy like Brock Lesnar and so would only wrestle a certain amount of time out of years. Hey, we don't see him on TV every day. Well, now when you see Roman Reigns, it's a special event. We see Roman Reigns on a SmackDown or on a premium live event.
Fans eat it up, man. They're throwing the ones up there. They love it,
Exactly.
man.
So less is more. Kind of similar to what they're doing with CM Punk too. We're not seeing CM Punk every Monday. So it makes the heart grow fonder. Right? Oh my God, Punk's here. It's been 2 weeks since I've seen him, or a week. Oh my God, I can't wait till what he has to say. They're not even talking about him being in the ring. They just want to know what he has to say. That's how impactful CM Punk and how WWE has packaged him and brought him in to television and drawn the audience to want to keep seeing him, regardless if they're in the ring or not, especially Roman. He doesn't have to be in the ring wrestling. Just shows up, throws the one, does that entrance, and that's all you need. And you got your money's worth, basically. So with this, it's just, I get it, Jeff. I understand what you're saying. But to me, it's just the only way you can give legitimacy that he could possibly lose, because there's the possibility where, oh no, Randy Orton can win or this, and Roman doesn't have to lose to protect them. But you're right. I see Roman winning this one, but again, I understand why they're doing this. And again, all four of them together in the ring, it's great. It's awesome to see LA Knight, Randy Orton, and AJ Styles. And maybe within the two of them, I still think there's an Orton, a Roman Reigns match, but I think this is a way of not wasting it and having, like you said, Orton take the pin too early.
Exactly. Perfect. Roman Reigns is going to come out on top. Now you go to the men's Royal Rumble match. This one, again, Has a lot of juice to it, buddy. Got a lot of juice, especially after Monday night, man, and having Cody and CM Punk in that ring. And when they are going to lock eyes, they are going to meet up. And we'll find out if after Sunday they'll still be friends, right? The CM Punk says so in the promo. Man, what can you say, dude? There is going to be a lot of speculation of who's going to win this one. Obviously, now there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. Is Cody going to finish the story? Is he going to win back-to-back Rumbles? Is he going to join that back-to-back club? Is Gunther going to fall after falling short last year, being the winner to put a monkey wrench in all of this stuff and challenge Seth for the World Championship, as he stated so on Raw? A lot of things. Is it going to be Drew? But who knows if Drew's going to even stick around after Mania, so we don't know. Damian Priest, he's already got the Money in the Bank. Why is he in the Rumble match? Here's the thing. You don't know, but I think at the end of the day, we're still going to get CM Punk and Seth Rollins. And Cody doesn't have to win this to finish his story. Trendsetter, I'm going with CM Punk.
Okay.
I'm going with CM Punk.
I get it.
I just think that it's been ever since he came back, we kind of felt that this was going to happen. This is going to do, and they're kind of building a Seth CM Punk thing. That's kind of quieted down now, whether it's due to Seth's injury, but that's kind of been put a little bit to the back burner. I don't know if they're doing that on purpose, so it throws you off the scent, and then now you're getting this whole Cody CM Punk thing. I think they're trying to throw us off the track, but I think at the end of the day, don't overthink this and go with CM Punk.
Listen, man, we could spend more than an hour or 2 hours. I mean, literally, we could dissect this as people do when it comes to the Super Bowl and spend 2 weeks just dissecting every which way scenario it's going, right? You say CM Punk. You say it makes sense, right? Well, before I give you my answer, and I'll give my answer first, who I think is going to come out victor. I still, for some rhyme or reason, I still believe, despite what I've been hearing, I still think it's going to be Cody. I really do. Now, Gunther makes more sense because it's going to just destroy both of our opinions right now and throw it out the window, and Gunther wins it because even that would be believable and legitimate because he was one away until Cody eliminated him, right? So, but I think it's Cody for this particular reason. CM Punk does not have to win the Royal Rumble to face Seth Rollins. Cody Rhodes has made it known that as much as he respects the world title and also said he's never wants to face Seth Rollins again, he's not interested in that title. He's interested in the WWE Universal Championship. The one title his father never won.
I got chills, man.
The only way that makes sense for him to face Roman is if he won the Rumble, because right now he's a member of the Raw brand. There is no trade happening. I thought eventually there's going to be a trade. He was going to be traded to SmackDown in replacement for Jey Uso, and that never happened. That never came to fruition. So the only way Cody can get Roman one more time would be to win the Rumble and then choose whichever champion wanted, and he would choose Roman and be part of SmackDown. That's the only thing that makes sense. Yes, Gunther facing Seth, I get it. Gunther getting revenge. Gunther even said on several interviews he wants to main event WrestleMania 40 when he was doing an interview for WrestleMania 39. CM Punk coming back and finally main eventing WrestleMania. Well, no, he can main event WrestleMania, but it just won't be night 2. This is the only thing that makes sense right now because The Rock's not there. Unless The Rock shows up the Royal Rumble, which would be a huge surprise for everybody, right? That could be a huge monkey wrench. We haven't talked about it. Nobody's talked about that. The Rock could be actually in the Rumble
30. If he's number 30, oh my God.
That's a possibility. I'm just throwing that out there. But if we're just talking about the people here, not excluding The Rock, because again, the Rock could still make me or somebody against Roman. That's still a possibility. It has to be Cody because it's the only thing that makes sense to me. For him to have a chance at Roman, he has to win the Rumble. He has to win it back to back. If he doesn't win it, then it might be a CM Punk thing. But again, if CM Punk wins it, then he moves on to Seth. I don't know. But I still think it's Cody, and his only chance is to win the Royal Rumble. That's it.
Yeah, it makes sense, man. Again, if you ever think this, you're going to think guys like Gunther, of course, obviously, because here's the monkey wrench too in Gunther. The guy that everyone thinks he's going to take on, Brock, it might not be Brock anymore.
Yeah.
It might not be Brock. And obviously, you want to highlight a guy like Gunther at WrestleMania. And that was what we thought would be a high-profile match. But you know what? Brock Lesnar might not be 100% now, obviously.
No, we're not talking about health. He just might not be 100% to be involved in the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about legally here. And so it's nuts, but it's a good kind of nuts. And before we close here, one of the best part of the Royal Rumble are the surprises. Any surprises that you think are going to happen? Obviously, the talk of Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné. Obviously, the long shot is MJF. Even Hulk Hogan says, "You never know, brother. I might just have one more in me," and people are going crazy saying, "Oh, can't have Hulk Hogan." Whatever. It's in Tampa, so you never know, brother. But out of all the surprises, which one do you think has the best chance of happening? Could we see Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks come back at the Rumble? Could we see Trinity come back? She's wrapped up with Impact, and not Impact Wrestling, with TNA. I'm sorry, you guys are changing that, and you guys are killing it. So I'm sorry, call it Impact TNA.
Yeah,
What do you think, man?
I think
What
most likely Sasha Banks comes back for one night, probably, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? It's long term, but it can definitely be one night. That's doable. Have Sasha Banks come back. Of course, Trinity or Naomi comes back. Those are possibilities. But I threw a wild card out there too, and I've been talking about this too. We just talked about him too, Okada, in terms of things being imminent. If Okada is in the Royal Rumble, how cool would that be? I don't think an MGF is going to be in there as much as people tease it, and some people have done great jobs of editing videos to make it think that MGF
oh,
in the
some
Rumble.
really great editors out there,
Great
man.
editors out there. Kudos to you
Call it.
guys. I wish to get to that level one day. Um, yeah, or just the one I said it out of the blue, and it actually kind of is kind of cool too. The Rumble. Imagine number 30 hits and The Rock's music. If you smell, and all of a sudden the crowd goes crazy. A lot of things there. But in terms of surprises, I think Sasha Banks will come back, at least for the Rumble. We'll draw intrigue there. And yeah, that's and I'm thinking Okada maybe might be out there as well. Who knows? Might be a surprise. Maybe we get the deal done before in a couple of days. Who knows? But less than 24 hours before
Hey,
you.
it only took 10, according to Triple H, to get a deal done with him and Punk,
Yeah.
right? This is gonna be big, man. This is gonna be. I
This
think
is why we love it so much, man. Because nowadays, Jeff, again, like I said before in the beginning, I don't remember the last time I was so excited to watch Royal Rumble because I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm okay with that. I don't need to know. I'm going to watch this as a fan and
Yeah.
be excited any other way. And then you and I are going to go right after on Instagram Live and talk about it and discuss it. And again, and at that point, come Saturday, the road starts to WrestleMania in Philadelphia.
We're gonna be talking about it. We're gonna be talking about this till we get to Saturday. We're gonna join you guys. We're gonna have extensive coverage of the Royal Rumble for you guys. Definitely stay tuned for that. Obviously, there's gonna be surprises in the men and women's Royal Rumble. Obviously, that Fatal 4-Way is gonna be amazing, and of course, Logan Paul is gonna showcase his talent because we feel he's the total package. But make sure you guys, in order to follow our extensive coverage, give us a like and subscribe here on the Give Us a Shot Network on YouTube. Subscribe and make sure you check us out. Also, we're available on all podcast platforms. So like, subscribe, download the episodes. If you don't catch us on video and you're at work and you want to catch, hey, what's going to go at the Rumble on a Friday? What do the guys have to say? Check us all on all social media and podcast platforms for that. And we are powered by Fast Break Coffee here on the HSP podcast. I want to thank everyone here, man. Glad to be back. Royal Rumble is upon us. The road to WrestleMania is upon us, Trendsetter. And now, of course, as you do every single episode as we close the show, you're the closer. Close us out of here.
Guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode of our Royal Rumble preview. Guys, the road to WrestleMania is closer than it has ever been before. All I can say to you guys is make sure you just watch it, enjoy it, like it as a fan. You don't have to like it, but just enjoy the fact that you're watching sports entertainment, professional wrestling, whatever you want to call it, guys. It's great to be talking about this at this time of year. It's like Christmas all over again for me. I can't help the excitement. It's just that way it is, man. And I thank you guys again for listening to Jeff and I. We are the Jersey Wrecking Crew. He is the scoundrel Jeff Martin. I am the trendsetter Brian Berga. Guys, thank you so much. We'll catch you next week. And remember, we do this for one reason and one reason only. Since day one, we do this for you,
The
the
crew. Guys, enjoy the Rumble, please, at least for one day. Let it breathe, and then complain on Sunday or Monday. Just don't be fickle. Enjoy the Rumble.